Look, we're going to stay on this issue. If you listen to the podcast, as all of you do, but if you listen to it with frequency, you know that this is an issue that we feel very strongly about. And we're going to continue this discussion even when others are turning the page on it, because it's a moral clarity issue.
That's right.
It's a moral clarity issue. You either have it or you don't. You've seen increasingly that Democrats do not have that. I'm looking at our next guest, and there she is. There she is. Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa, who has been a terrific champion of all of this. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Senator. Thank you.
We look. It's not always sexy to talk about foreign policy, right? And a lot of people will say, are these things something that affects me directly? But the reality is, it does affect you directly, and it's about the safety and security of your home, about the inflation is a big piece of this, about the global economy, all of these things. And I'm so thankful that we have people like Senator Ernst who are watching out for these things, even when they aren't on the front of the news. Now they are.
Yes.
But you've been doing this since day one.
Right, exactly. It really is a big part of my portfolio, what I watch and what I engage in the United States Senate. And it is an interest to me because I served in the Army Reserves and the Iowa Army National Guard. I deployed for Operation Iraqi Freedom as a company commander. So it isn't a region that I pay attention to, the Central Command region. And we see what's going on with Israel. We see the potential for an Israel-Saudi Arabia peace agreement. We see a lot of terrorism throughout that region. It's what I pay attention to. We have China, of course, and Taiwan. We have Russia and Ukraine, all of these breakout areas. But we also have to pay attention to South America. And the Russians are in South America.
Yeah.
We have the Chinese in South America.
When you have an open border.
Yeah.
This is part of the void, right?
So
this is the argument when people are like, why do we deal with all of this stuff? Like, why don't we just sort of focus on our own things? Problem is that there's a void that's left, that's filled at some point. And when it's filled, what you're talking about, I think, is the fact that China, Russia, Iran, and others start to fill the void vacated by the United States.
When democracy and freedom contract, these authoritarian regimes will expand. The void that is left there, someone will fill.
Yes.
I would rather it be America and partners and allies. So I always use the expression America first, but not America alone. So I do believe in the strength of America, but I see us as a great convener. We're the ones that can leverage our friends and partners so that we don't have to bear the brunt of everything.
Right.
We can leverage those friends and partners to help fill in that gap with the ideals that we believe in, which is freedom.
And a really important thing that Josh mentioned is the impact that happens across the world when America does not have a leadership position. You saw in the aftermath of the shameful Afghanistan withdrawal under the Biden administration, you had countries like China, many nations trying to get off the U.S. dollar as a currency because they felt that, well, America, if they're not leading the way, I guess we will start moving in a separate direction. That's the necessity for a strong
And also
America.
moving into like rare earth.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So then, So we left Afghanistan, and China came in, rolled out the red carpet, and was like, we're going to help you mine all these rare earths.
$1 trillion of rare earths.
Trillion
dollars.
It is $1 trillion left behind in Afghanistan, and the Chinese have over 60 contracts with the Taliban for those rare earth minerals.
It's unbelievable. I mean, look, and all for a political point.
Right.
They basically
wanted to do it on 9/11.
They wanted to do it on 9/11.
Such a horrific
20th anniversary. They were dead set upon it. In the aftermath, not just the absolute devastation, the people we left behind, the Marines that were killed, all of that is just contemptible beyond contempt. But we also left a gold mine for the Chinese and everybody else. That's why foreign policy matters.
Because it's related to domestic policy. Because you have a Biden administration that says we have to get rid of oil and gas.
Yeah.
We can't frack anywhere anymore.
Sorry.
We need to build these electric batteries. How the hell do you think we make them? It's the rare earths in Afghanistan.
Sounds like I love this idea. This is a really good
They're
idea.
like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
great.
So get me started on Biden's big priority last year for our National Defense Authorization Act. His big priority was to electrify the vehicle fleet for the United States military. So I'll give him this, starting with the non-tactical vehicle fleet. But the plan was to get that done within a few years' time and then expand to everything else in the military. And
Just
folks,
what we need. Just make an Abrams
seriously.
tank look more like a Toyota Prius.
Exactly. Exactly.
Do they have
Dragging
charging
a
stations
generator.
on battlefields typically?
Okay, so the kicker is, I was a transportation company commander in Kuwait and Iraq. Okay, so my guys, we pick up loads in Kuwait at the ports and the warehouses, push all of that stuff up into Iraq. I can't imagine. And this was 03 to 04. So think, not developed. But rolling up into Iraq and, being like, hey, Mr. Iraqi, where's the nearest charging station? I've got 60 vehicles I need to charge.
Hey, man, y'all got plug-ins in here?
It doesn't work like that.
No.
It doesn't work. And who is benefiting from all of those electric vehicles? It's China.
China.
It's China.
So let's turn our focus to what's behind us
Oh, my
here for a
gosh.
minute.
This street?
Yeah. The street, the cars,
This
and
is great.
we have 5 candidates.
This is
and I'm not
amazing.
going to ask you any tough questions about who you're doing. I know you supported and been a concierge.
Yes.
For basically anybody
I'm an ambassador.
who
Ambassador for the Iowa caucus.
has come in.
We've
but
seen it firsthand, and we love it.
Yeah.
We love
we
it.
have. We've been
Been to Iowa.
concierged.
Yes.
We have. But obviously you're first.
Yes.
This means a lot, right?
It does mean a lot. It means a lot. And the candidates that have the wherewithal, the staying power, they will be the ones that are vying for those votes in the Iowa caucuses. And for those that don't know how the caucus works in Iowa, you do have to be a registered voter to attend the caucus, so you'll need to be a Republican. Democrats kicked us to the curb a long time ago.
I mean, they literally just abandoned it.
Yeah, Joe Biden said, well, I lost in Iowa. I lost in New Hampshire, so let's go to South Carolina.
Yeah.
So the Iowa Democrats really don't have anything going on. But Iowa Republicans, you have to be registered as a Republican, and you physically have to be at the caucus during the caucus hours. So no absentee ballots, none of that. You physically have to go to the caucus and fill out your ballot at the caucus.
And then you get to argue with your neighbors.
And you can argue with your neighbors,
It's
but it's
so
not
good.
as bad as the Democrats.
In
how they-
Iowa, it's not bad, right? I mean, in Iowa,
We're
like,
Iowa nice.
It's a thoughtful discussion.
Right, it is.
I do like the idea of arguing with your neighbors.
So-
I'm actually I'm super sad I don't live in Iowa.
You would be an incredible.
I would be so
caucuser.
good
Oh my
at being at a
gosh.
caucus.
You
because,
would.
Because I'm an angry person and I like arguing with people.
Michael, you might get the chance because we have talked about going out to Iowa
You
in
should.
I for the
think so.
caucuses, for the
Come on
Ruthless
out.
Variety
I
Program.
think we're going to. Would you come if we did?
Do you even
course.
need to ask?
Of course you would. It's so
I would
fun.
be there in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
All right.
I love Iowa. Iowa loves you.
Yeah, we've
the
put some time
Ruthless
in.
fellas were in Iowa just a month back or so. Came out. They set up shop in one of the local downtown bars, standing room only. The place was packed.
We have the best listeners.
It was so
It
fun.
was packed.
Wasn't that
They
fun?
loved it.
Oh,
It was
it
a
was a
lot of
blast.
fun.
God,
it was a
blast.
lot of fun.
It was awesome.
But
Well,
I would encourage, we've got a lot of folks out here. If you are interested in the caucuses, you can go and watch. You cannot vote. You
Well,
cannot.
it's important.
But we call it political tourism. And people from other states actually come into Iowa to go to the caucuses and watch.
I mean, it's a lot of fun, to be honest.
Seriously, that's their vacation.
It's a lot of fun.
I had people tell me they come every 4 years. They're coming from like Texas and Wyoming and you name it. They come to Iowa because I was like, are you here on business? And they're like, no, we're here for the caucuses. So
I mean,
Okay.
that's great. That's great. I mean, it really is a unique system, and it's an incredible
Yeah.
group of people.
That's
We've
wonderful.
always had such a blast in Iowa, and they've been so welcoming of us. We've had so many events.
Wonderful
I
state.
feel like I'm practically an Iowan.
You're an
at this
honorary
point.
Iowan.
Seriously.
Right.
Joni Ernst, thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for what you
guys.
do.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
for
the
everything.
fellas.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Senator.
thanks so much. It's good to see everybody. Thank you. We're going to have a great debate.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator.